Hello, my name's Hugh Kluger, and I'm the sub-principal double bassist of the London Philharmonic Orchestra.
My name's Geoff King, and I'm a composer on the London Philharmonic Orchestra's Young Composer Scheme.
Is there anything you think people need to know or should know about this piece before hearing it for the first time?
So I think partially it's important that people know its relationship with the source material. So it's a response to Bach's Fourth Brandenburg Concerto, and it's part of a series of responses to each of the six. And the movement for that, the second movement for that Brandenburg Concerto is famously like 2 bars long. It's literally just a half cadence. And so this is the a kind of like imaginary second movement, is my understanding. Um, and it is just all over the place. It has so many different influences. The Bach definitely appears at a couple times, but you really get this kind of kaleidoscopic taster of all different styles, including these like pretty substantial improvised bits,
Sure.
which obviously you don't see very often in sort of classical orchestral writing. It has the same emotional affect as the Bach. It has that same kind of like dense counterpoint and rhythmic drive, but turned up to 11. You know, turned up to a point where, or turned up to um, a point of expressivity that really wasn't available to Bach at the time. Now that because Bach's instruments, Bach's stringed instruments couldn't make as much noise. These are just like really intense, intense little snippets of music, and also because the improvisation that happens, particularly between the violin soloist and the bass soloist, um, it just like you just get the sense that it's a really fun piece to play, and everyone looks like they're having a really good time. And I think that just makes it a much more compelling experience than like a really serious kind of sober-faced performance of a Brandenburg concerto.
So do you think that the players having fun, do you think it ever risks the chance of ruining like the high-end classiness of orchestras, like we're trying to be like a Bentley, aren't we, a lot of the time, and it's
Yeah,
how do you think of it? What do you think when you see musicians kind of like grooving out and having a good time?
I mean, I think the more that we can get, the better. Any because like a classical performance is theater, right? Like you're going to hear things, but you're also going to see things. And if if the people that you're watching are like visibly having a good time, are visibly enjoying what they're doing, I think that can only make it a better performance.
Do you think the orchestra can, it's kind of jazzy, this piece. Do you think the
Yeah.
orchestra can groove as hard as a jazz band? Is it possible?
Uh, I think they can groove as hard, but not in the same way.
Yeah.
Because there are some things that jazz bands do, like I played in jazz bands all through middle school and high school, and like when you get like the full brass in a shout section, just really going for it, like that is a unique sound that an orchestra probably isn't going to get.
I think Pekka imitates that though in this, doesn't he? He does a bit of that,
Yeah,
the kind of sliding in, like, I don't know, augmented pistol, whatever you want to call it. These
yeah,
kind of
yeah,
like gritty sounds. He kind of imitates
totally,
that with
totally.
the orchestra.
And similarly, like the moment the last fast bit where everyone picks up, is it a snare stick?
They're just
Um,
like pieces of wood.
just dowel rods, yeah,
Yeah.
and just plays with that. I think that has like a similar kind of drive to when a jazz band really gets going. And that's like incredibly exciting, especially after that beautiful, slow, kind of placid music that came before it.
Absolutely. What's your favorite bit in this piece?
I have two favorite bits. Um, One is the beginning. I mean, the transition from tuning into kind of conducted music or notated music is really nice. But it's not just that. There's an intensity um, that he draws out of the kind of endpoint of that gesture where it starts out so banal and so familiar, and then there's something about the way that he's written it. And I think I do think this is like in the kind of freedom of the notation, and like, really just trusting players to bring a lot to the experience, that like there's just this really gradual increase of intensity the whole way through, which is just really beautiful.
Hmm.
And then my second favorite part is actually the slow bit in the middle, because I think like I'm a harmony guy, and like his harmonic sense is just absolutely stunning,
Mm.
particularly with the way that I think that the way that the solo violin interacts with the like way up above this like really like juicy strings in the middle.
So, if you weren't a composer, let's
Yeah.
pretend you know nothing about
Yes. Yeah.
music.
Yeah.
Let's pretend. Do you think there's anything people have to know about this piece, or can you just say there's absolutely nothing you have to know about it? You can just sit down without having, is this like a really dense piece which has like all this? We talk about improvisation, we talk
Yeah.
about randomness, we talk about structure.
Yeah.
What do you have to understand?
I think you have to understand that this piece is a wild ride, and to enjoy it, you just got to like go with the flow. Um, it's not going to be it's not going to be a classical piece in the way that you kind of conventionally understand it, um, but it is a lot of fun.
Hmm. I mean, it's a for me. I kind of thought when I was listening to it, th for me, there's nothing you have to know about music
Yeah,
to listen to it. I mean, it
yeah,
starts off quiet. It does have this structure to it where it starts quiet, gets loud, but then
yeah,
gets quiet again. It's kind of
yeah,
like watching a TV show, like people get to know each other, they fall in love, then
yeah, yeah. And then
have
something
some
goes
company
wrong,
ever
and
after.
yeah,
There's
yeah,
an arc to it, but really, you just sit there and you kind of think there are some cool sounds, there's some interesting stuff, there's some exciting things, some weird things,
yeah,
but you know, there's all this talk about I find a lot of people hear of contemporary music, or they hear a composer's name that isn't Bach, and
yeah.
they think, "Oh, that's gonna be weird. It's gonna be complex." I mean,
Yeah.
there's complexity, but you don't have to know anything about it, right?
No, no. It's just yeah, it's just like a constantly surprising and inventive 20 minutes.
I hear it starting off in nature. There are
Hmm.
bird sounds there. It's everything waking up from the quiet. And yeah, and then I kind of see some characters coming along because I mean as you saw we did it with Pekka Kazista, who is such a strong character as a performer and a
Yeah,
person,
yeah,
and he kind of imbues this character, this playful person searching, maybe it's like Siegfried or something, looking around the forest when
yeah,
he's
yeah,
a
yeah,
kid, and kind of growing up and becoming more confident through the piece until he can like improvise and go absolutely nuts with the bass player,
yeah,
having a
yeah,
good
yeah,
time, having fun, playing off each other, maybe sword fighting with each other or something. I don't know. I
yeah,
kind of keep going back to Siegfried, and then and then I don't know. It kind of calms down by the end, and everyone just goes back to bed. I mean, that maybe makes it sound more boring than it actually should. It's so cool. There are so many different colors to me that
yeah,
I could think
exactly.
of any story, to be honest.
Yeah, and like I think that that nature idea is really important because there's a sense where um there's something about like rhythmic drive where you can kind of hear, or there's something about the improvisation where you can hear personality. So that seems to be about people, right? And then the really slow music, which which comes out of the like the it comes out of the middle. That seems more sort of nature because you can't really hear the people in that as
Hmm,
much, right? You don't hear any personalities. You just hear kind of pitches and harmonies slowly shifting.
hmm.
But when those moments where it really focuses on a person, I think that's where it comes back into the like the the human realm, right? And so that's I think for me the main narrative is just a shifting and maybe a cohabitation between people and nature.
Absolutely. Do you think
Yeah.
it's because there's so much texture and color in this piece? I mean, lots of classical music has they all have a certain texture and color, but I think this one has such a wide range. Do you
Yeah.
think the performance element of it is more important to kind of to signpost that to people for an orchestra?
Like signpost it in a program note, you mean?
No, I
Or
mean like literally the performers on stage, the soloist kind of showing who he's interacting with at that point,
yeah.
the conductor really being visible in what's going on in the orchestra because there's so much
Yeah.
going on.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And I think that can only enhance the performance, right? Like in jazz, when people are soloing, they stand up.
Mm,
We even clap when they're done, right?
mm.
Anything that we can do to make the structure a little bit clearer for an audience is going to be is only going to help the piece.